It sucks to be a white American.
I'm just on here wondering if anybody's feeling the same way I'm feeling.
Racism devastates people from the global majority the most, obviously. Let's be really clear about that. But whiteness carries a cost for white people too. And I wish white people could get that into their heads.
Hello brothers and sisters, I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you are watching me from now. The white farmers and the white community is calling out the black community for help. Now, most of them are regretting whatever they voted for. They are regretting the division that has always existed between the black and the brown community. Now, they are calling out the black community to come and unite. Is this the right time for the unity of the black and the brown community? So let's watch this video, then have a really quick discussion at the end of it. Thank you so much.
Now hold on, give me a chance, let me explain. I want you to think of the kind of person who would put on a White Lives Matter sticker on the back of their Ford pickup. Why do they do that? Is it all racism? Well, yeah. But I think it goes a lot deeper than that. White Americans basically have no culture. Not in the same way we see other people. And we white people, we know this inherently, and it scares us. We know we have our regional cultures. Our cities, our sports teams, and families all give us our regional culture, but being white basically means nothing, or generally at least nothing positive. White people throughout American history are almost always seen on the side of the oppressors. Not all white people, but most of us. And this sucks to learn. It's even harder to internalize. And it's why white people usually don't accept this, because it makes us feel a deep sense of guilt. I think it's why white people say nonsense like, I can't be racist, I have black friends. Sure, you probably don't see black people as objects, but you're refusing to accept the role our people have had in their oppression. That guilt we feel is our responsibility for the actions of our ancestors. It's why white people refuse to say that black people deserve reparation, because it admits our guilt. But black people deserve reparations. It just makes sense logically. You can sue someone for scratching your car, but black people can't sue the American government for the enslavement of their people. My people are arresting and deporting Mexican families from this country. Think about that. We are telling people that they are not allowed on the land we stole. Let's go a step further. White people stole a sacred land site from the people indigenous to this land and then carved 4 white people's faces on it, most of which were slave owners. I mean, Mount Rushmore is a place that we look at and we're like, oh cool, giant faces. But to other people, it's a giant form of oppression, and admitting that and coming to terms with that sucks. We suck, dude. My people really and truly suck. Not all of us contributed to this oppression, but we are all a part of it. And this will mostly sound like virtue signaling. It will mostly sound like, look at how rough we are. But there is a reality to admitting this guilt and being honest with it. Because white people are afraid to do this. And we're afraid to admit it because my people are weak. White people are weak. We have power we have given ourselves and put down the cultures that are stronger than us because we know that we're weak. If white Americans were oppressed the same way black, native, or Mexican American people are, we would crack like glass. Our culture and identity as white people is so meaningless that we do everything in our power to keep other people down so that we don't break from having someone else on top. I think that's why you see white Americans championing white pride, not just out of ignorance or racism, but it's because they are scared. They're scared to come to terms with their guilt, scared to admit they're wrong, and terrified to acknowledge that we may have all the societal, economic, and political power, but as a people we are weak. But this isn't the way it has to be forever. I have hope that one day my people will finally take responsibility for what we have done. I hope that we'll collectively accept our role in the oppression of our non-white brothers and sisters and finally take action. And it will take the action of us white folks. It's not just non-white people that have to fight for their rights. It's us too fighting for them because our cross to bear is being born white. Being born with the skin color of the oppressors means that we have to fight to be nothing like them. We're not near that right now. America is in a tumultuous stage where it very much does not feel like white people are acknowledging where they went wrong. But I want to have hope, and I refuse to accept that one day justice won't prevail. Collectively, we can all shed the shadow of oppression and share this place together. And that's the message I want to end with. I want to be hopeful that one day oppression will be something taught in history class, you know? Something that we don't have to see ourselves in. That's what I hope. Anyway, I want to be optimistic in the end. Anyway, that's it. Thanks.
It shows up in how isolated we often are. In regions like the Northeast and Wales, over 90% of people are white British, and a third of white Britons say they have no friends from a global majority background. I mean, think about what that means. We are cut off from whole worlds of perspective, from different ways of thinking, problem solving, creativity, ideas, joy, humor, you name it. Instead of gaining resilience through difference, we stay small and we stay shallow and we cling to sameness, and I guess we call that normal. Whiteness looks like power, but it's really a cage. It cuts us off from the richness of life itself. Racism dehumanizes people of color, but it also diminishes white people. And anti-racism isn't charity work, remember. It's how we open the door to fuller humanity, connection, and possibility. I mean, it would be great if we did this out of the goodness of our hearts and for the sake of justice. But if that feels like too much to ask, do it for selfish reasons. Do it because your life will be richer, deeper, funnier, and better if you do.
My husband and I are like beyond this whole racism nightmare that we are living here in the US. Every single problem is being blamed on a black or brown person. I'm so fucking tired of it. I can't. I grew up in LA. A cultural bounty of beauty. Brown, black, white, Asian, beautiful. I'm in East Tennessee. Don't ask how I got here because it's not good. This administration wants to completely get rid of anyone of color. And as a white person, I am disgusted. Disgusted. Sickened. Oh. I don't know when this happened. I don't know how it happened. I don't know how we missed it. How did so many people believe that Trump was going to be their savior? From what? And from what? I guess that's the bigger question. From what? Savior from what? What was so bad? What is wrong with these people? And here now we have so many kind of creeping out from under, the mushroom growing oak that say, oops, I made a mistake. And I'm torn. The compassionate me wants to say, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for finally knowing. And there's a fiery part of me that wants to say, fuck you. You got us here. You with your vote. You with your vote. You got us here.
If you're not from America or have spent a long amount of time there, you may not realise how deeply, deeply segregated, racially segregated the society is. If you don't know me, I'm Goodwill Hunting. I am a writer from Northern Ireland, stroke the north of Ireland, and I'm using TikTok to get a book deal for my novel Influenced. I wasn't really going to speak about this because it's not my place to make a video like this as a white person, but this person left this comment and I just wanted to touch on it really quickly because I think it's worth just speaking about my observations as a non-American who spent time in America. So I'm going to use a really specific example so that nobody can say that I'm talking out of my arse. So I love hip hop and I was staying in New York for like a prolonged period of time over the course of a year, and I saw the Roots were playing in Philadelphia. Now it was part of a festival, so it was like the Roots, Lil Wayne, Nas, Jill Scott was there. Like there was so many amazing artists and I was like, I have to go to this event. So I booked a ticket. It was really cheap. Also, like for America, it was cheap. And to see all of those artists like separately here, you'd be waiting years. So I booked a ticket. Also, I solo travel all the time, so I don't think anything of this. But I booked like an Airbnb, like a room just in like a shared kind of Airbnb building in Philadelphia. Now the event was in West Philly, which again, I didn't think anything of. I knew it was like where Fresh Prince is from, but that was kind of my only reference point. And I travelled down on the mega bus, and on the day of the festival, I got an Uber to the event, and the guy that was driving the Uber, I will say everyone in this area was black. That's not a problem, by the way. Like I just noticed that it was like blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks. Like I would say miles, everyone was black, which we don't really have here to the same extent. We do have segregated areas, but it's nowhere near the same extent in Europe. So I go to this festival and I'm in the car and the guy's black driving the taxi, and he's like what, basically like, what are you doing here, but like in a funny way. And I was like, oh, I'm Irish, like I'm staying in New York, I just love this, like all these artists, blah blah blah, I've wanted to see the Roots for ages. And he was like, oh okay, and then he goes, you'll be fine. And I was like, what do you mean I'll be fine? And he was like, you're Irish, it's okay. And I was kind of like, okay. And I kind of picked up that it was because I'm like a white lady going to this festival alone. I just want to add, I don't think it was anything to do with like my safety or anything like that. It was more because it's not really appropriate. Like it's just a bit of a strange thing. Like a white American woman would never do that, you know. Anyways, I get there and like it's a huge festival. It's like thousands and thousands of people. I would say honestly there was like 3 other white people there. Now this is in no means a complaint, everyone was lovely and really sound, but what I noticed was, like I say, the cultural segregation in America is crazy. Like it's almost as if there's 2 countries running congruently beside each other. And what I found was that black people have no choice but to consume white media and to code switch and like partake in white media for the most part, whereas white people can completely opt out of black media. They can also obviously opt out of anything to do with having to engage with the black community as well. But it was just really shocking because an event like that in London would be so mixed, so diverse. People would be fucking buzzing for it, like from all different walks of life. And over there it felt, and rightly so, I understand not wanting to have loads and loads of white people like descend on that kind of event, but it was just such a stark example to me of the way that America is completely culturally divided. And like this comment says, for example, the film Sinners, so many white Americans are not going to watch that film just because it has black people in it. And it really is that deep.
What's up, folks? Trev here, one of the Gots to Do Better brothers. And I want to continue commenting on this Shiloh Hendrix video in which he raises in excess of 700K now. We're using the N-word against an autistic 5-year-old child. And this, I think, is a point where America has taken the turn, revealing its true racist self and just devolving into what it is that white America has been in denial of all the time. Don't get me wrong, they will still deny that there is racism. This for them is end of cancel culture or fighting back against those who are persecuting Shiloh. But make no mistake about it, this is racism rearing its ugly head. And here's what it is in a nutshell. In a nutshell, this country values the dollar. That's a metric they use. And the fact that by doing this act, she has been able to raise money. And some people are comparing it as a win versus the Kamala Anthony situation where he's raising money for his defense, saying that, oh, watch, she's raised more than him. It's just a disgusting, really disgusting turn of events that we have gone down. And they are using that as a metric to say, oh, we have won. What have you won? And really quickly about those dollars, I touched on this before. But who are we? White man, ask yourself, who are we? Who are you referring to? That just shows that you have bought into the narrative that it is white versus black, as opposed to versus rich versus the 99%. Because think about where that money is going to go. Shiloh Hendricks is going to take that money and spend it in large part, probably entirely, in white institutions owned by billionaires. What that will go to fund is lobbyists, narratives, media that continue to fuel a narrative that creates people like Shiloh Hendricks feeling that she is being persecuted and that she is somehow losing her whiteness.
Racism is expensive, and corporations and billionaires don't care about you. This is probably breaking news to many who support and applaud mass deportations. Well, the people in Nebraska, the state of Nebraska, is starting to find out how expensive both of those things are, how expensive racism is, and how much corporations and the billionaires don't care about the working class, minorities, poor people, black people, and other non-billionaires. Well, here we go. So I hear Nebraska is on the brink of bankruptcy, although it seems that they have found a little band-aid to put on their self-inflicted gashing wound by choosing and supporting mass deportations, which hurts their farms because it takes away the migrant workers who, instead of waiting for ICE agents to go and round them up and jam-pack them into some of those private prisons like Core Civic, and continue to enrich the billionaires while they lose while the farmers lose their workers. The migrants decided to self-deport to places where they can be and be okay, and not be in communities of people who applaud and support mass deportations. So I guess those migrants were taking people's jobs. Where are those people? Come and take the jobs. They're there. The jobs are available. Why are these states? Why is Nebraska potentially going bankrupt? Why are so much of America's farming country going belly up? Yeah, racism is expensive, and like they say, F around, find out. But I hope this is a lesson to everybody that is in support of and applaud mass deportations and mass incarceration. People who, in a haste to get rid of the people they do not like or to hurt people they don't like, end up hurting themselves. With racism and xenophobia and all of these other things that were part of this this past election. By the way, I'm not, although MAGA is super excited.
So the MAGA people are having so many moments of F around and find out. And this man that's in this White House has shown them so many times in the last, it's just July. And they have been shown that this was a mistake so many times since January. Do you think they gonna finally get it? Do you think they finally tired? Like, do you think they really understand at this point that they made a huge mistake by putting that racist and bigot in the office, that idiot in the office? Do y'all think they really understand that now? No, I don't think they do either. I don't think they, never mind. No, I don't think so. But I hope that they at least on some level understand that, number one, they give no sympathy. They get no sympathy from those of us who tried to tell them that everything that is happening, we told you was gonna happen. So we don't feel sorry for any of you all. But I hope on some level y'all understand that racism is expensive. Not just financially, but y'all, I know y'all understand financially, or y'all should understand that financially it's expensive too. But money has been lost, lives have been lost, jobs have been lost, homes have been lost, farms and livelihoods have been lost because of racism. So y'all thought that it was only gonna be us, black people, brown people, people of color. Y'all thought we were gonna take the brunt of the racism. But racism is a double-edged sword. If it don't get you going, it's gonna get you coming. Because you all put somebody in office who has no morals or values, who doesn't live by a code, who's a coward.
So racism has always been expensive. It's always been expensive. It's just, they always thought that they would have the fee. They always thought they would have the fee, and hell, for a good minute they did. They had the fee to give. See, the problem is now they don't have the fee. They don't have the fee, so it's becoming a problem. And rather than stop trying to pay the fucking fee, y'all will literally kill yourselves and kill the reputation of this country, of this nation, trying to pay a fee that y'all should have been stopped paying. Okay? Y'all should have been stopped paying. When colleges went from being tuition free to tuition based in 1960s, in the 1960s, that was all because y'all couldn't stop us from getting educated anymore, so you wanted to put a roadblock in there. You wanted to make it harder for us. We didn't have the capital like you guys did, so you added tuition. The reason why America doesn't have universal health care is because that means everybody would have access to it, that including people like me and you. And they don't want that. They thought that they would always have surgery money. They thought that they was always going to have outpatient care money. You understand? Private doctor money. Hell, I'm not going to an office. I can always have them come to me. That's what they thought they was always going to have. And as they started to see that they were losing leverage, rather than stop paying the fee for racism, they said, bitch, here, take my arm, take my leg, take my organs. To the point where you guys are where you are today, still trying to pay a fee, going out of your way to pay a fee that literally is killing you. It's killing you. And then now that you're starting to realize that y'all really did fuck around a little bit too much, you want my pretty black ass to get up out of my seat to come and fight for you? Oh, you're fucking stupid. Oh, you're beyond stupid. You're beyond my pretty self. You see me? Y'all see my brothers and sisters? They fine too. We supposed to get up out of our seats? Up out of our beds? And I heard a white woman literally said, black people, stay where you are. I would never take no advice from white people unless it was on how to be selfish, because that's the only thing that I think that they can give. However, this white lady said, do not get up out of your seats. You want to know why? They want us to get out and be in the streets so that now they can plot to kill us.
Brothers and sisters, I think it is heading to a point where the unity of people, of the human race, is very, very important. I've always been mentioning this for quite some time, that we as the people have been separated, and we've been sold lies that we have bought them. We've bought the lies of the system that has always been against the unity of the black people with the brown people and the white people. Now, sometimes I've always said that the politicians are not the problem. We are the problem. When we keep on listening to the same politicians, when we keep on listening to the same system and doing how it wants us to do things, then we are the problem. For how long have we seen the police brutality and many other things, evils being committed to the black community? But some people have not always been there to say or to talk or support the black community. Some people have even gone ahead to term the black community as aggressive. Now, when things happen, such as the tariffs at the moment, when life is so much unbearable, when the payslip has been invaded by the same system that people voted for. Now, it is the black folks who could have stepped in to talk, because they have always been talking on the things that have been happening in the US for a very long time. But why do we see the black community silent? Why do we see a majority of the black community minding their own business? It is because when they needed you the most, you never showed up. When they wanted someone to talk and help them fight the police brutality and so many other things that were happening, no one volunteered to do that. Some of the people even went ahead to be against them, to help the system continue oppressing the black community. Now most people have always separated them with the reality. Some people have been detached with the reality for a very long time. Do you know when the system is always supporting you, the system is always protecting you, and the system is always trying to bribe you into being a citizen in that country? You never see things the way others see it. You never experience the life the black community or the rest of the people in the US have always experienced it. Now, this brings me to a point where the supremacy battles have always been played for a very long time in the US. We've seen a majority of the people. When I say a majority, I say most of the people, the dominant race in the US, has always had some privileges. Children are born and they grow in a society that has privileged them over some few other people, And when this happens, people tend to be relaxed. People tend to be touched with the truth, The truth is there are a lot of struggles, and sometimes I usually even say the American dream is a fallacy. It's a lie that has been sold to the rest of the world to show how supreme the US is, how big and powerful the US is. But you meet most of the people in the US struggle to pay their bills. The US even goes ahead to overtax its own citizens, But the lie that has been told about the same country and about its people out here is different. Now, this is the system that has always manipulated you to think you are living in the greatest country, which has no problems. But the reality is, however much the US is great, it has its own problems. People struggle to pay taxes. People struggle to pay mortgages, the loans and everything else. The prices of goods has been skyrocketing for the past years, And there has been no government that has come and put correct measures in place to make sure that the common citizen is being protected from this exploitation by both the manufacturers, by both the suppliers, the retailers, the farmers, and all these other people. Talking about the farmers are even now crying out to the same government that there was the MAGA promise. There was this whole thing that it was going to work out for them, that in the case of making, or in the process of making America great again, now there was largely going to build on the basis of farming, that most farmers were going to have a good life, that their produce will thrive in the market and their farms will do better. Look now, whatever is happening, most of the farmers are now crying out to the government that things are not working out, that there are a lot of taxes on them. The illegal immigrants or the undocumented immigrants who used to work in their farms are no longer there. They are no longer showing up for jobs. This is threatening. And most of the people and most of the farmers in the rural America are now crying out. Most farmers are in Nebraska, in Texas, in California, in North Carolina. They are all crying out to the same government they voted in. This is why I usually say that we need to come together as the people. We need to unite as the people. Leave alone whatever you've been told about your brothers and sisters. There is need for us, the people, to come to understand that there always has been a reality. And when we joke around, the reality is going to hit us very hard. You know, the justice system hasn't been very, very fair for the longest on the black community. This can be seen in very many cases that have later on been ruled as the sentence was wrongly given to most of the black community who are imprisoned, and most of them have been found not guilty for whatever they were accused of some years back. Some of them have even served longer sentences in prisons for whatever they didn't do. So I usually say that if we cannot come together as the people, if we cannot realize that the systems that were installed were only installed to protect the interest of the rich and not you, the common citizen, we are messed up. The only thing and the best thing we can do to ourselves is uniting, is coming together and realizing that the moment unity thrives is the moment these systems will go down. Brothers and sisters, black people have been so resilient. Their resilience is so unmatched because these are the people who have been here for 400 years and people who have seen so many things happening. People who have faced police brutality. They have faced mass incarceration. They have faced so many other things, you know, that some of them have even faced worse things than you are being told. So these people are used to suffering. These people are used to things that may not be good, you know. And when we bring these people together, then we bring the brown community together, then we bring the Latinos, then we bring every other person to unite. You have a very stronger society. You have a very strong community in the US. But since you've been told lies about your brothers and sisters, you can't allow for unity to take place. You even have always been against you associating with the brothers and sisters. You've grown up being taught a history that was not yours. You've grown up in an environment, the black people have grown up in an environment where everything was taken away from them. Their religion, their culture, everything, you know, they were taken away from their land and the land of their ancestors. So it is very good to realize that you voted for the problem, and it is time you acknowledge your own mistakes and apologize. Then later on, you can ask for unity. You don't go on giving threats without an apology. Who even thinks that it is going to work with this rudeness and calling out the black community. If they are not coming to help, this and that will happen. It has always not worked that way. You know, you must realize that you made a mistake and you need to repent. You need to acknowledge your mistakes and say, we made a mistake, and brothers and sisters, we are sorry. Let's unite for a better tomorrow. Not that you are trying to force the people to unite and you are the one who made a mistake. That's very, very wrong, you know. And most cases, the identity politics has played a very big role in whatever we are seeing today. That black voters are even shifting national elections. Most of the time, people go to vote because they feel like our person is here. And the other side, our person is here. Or we want to punish these people. Or we want to punish the other group. It should not always be that way. If we really want to unite, and if we want to bring reforms, and if we really want to make America great again, or to make America great, then we must realize that it is unity, not the politicians. Politicians have no power to make your country great. In fact, you're the ones who pay taxes that they misuse a lot. So the moment a politician tells you that they are going to make your country great, ask yourself some few questions, because I feel like no politician can make your country great. The policies they bring about is the only thing that can make your country great. But these policies must also align to the Constitution or to the rule of law. So it is the people with the power. You're the one who have the absolute power. When you unite and say no to dictators, and when you unite, say no to autocratism, when you unite and say no to someone who thinks they're above the law, then the people have the final word. It is always you. But in most cases, we've let the politician dictate to us whatever should be done, which is very, very wrong. So brothers and sisters, we must realize that we are the ones to save ourselves, and no one is going to come to do it for us. Save yourself, save your brothers and sisters from the mess, and no politician is coming to save or change your life. Thank you so much for having taken the time to watch this video. I really appreciate it. Adios.